Ann Coulter's Berkeley speech has set off a delightful firestorm, and now we're in the midst of an absurd free speech debate that's opened an oozing chasm on the left. The recent protests on college campuses from Berkeley to NYU have shown loud lefties are using fascism to curtail free speech. Violence has erupted to squash words, so sticks and stones may break your bones, and they may be used to forcefully silence unpopular ideas. You know, it's an interesting debate when these people are, for once, on the right side of it.
This goes on all over the country on campuses. They invite someone to speak who's not exactly what liberals want to hear, and they want to shut her down. I feel like this is the liberals' version of book burning.
Yeah.
And it's got to stop.
My view is let her speak and just don't show up. If you don't like it, don't show up.
Exactly, Liz. Even Bernie Sanders stood up for Coulter, but the left is in lockstep, as a New York Times op-ed from uppity NYU comparative literature professor Ulrich Baer shows. Some commies are more than happy to force their enemies into silence. He breaks from those three, writing, quote, "Freedom of expression is not an unchanging absolute." Yes, it is. And he also says the recent student demonstration should be understood as an attempt to ensure conditions of free speech for a greater group of people rather than censorship. Yeah, he then goes on to say when monsters like Milo and Ann Coulter step foot on a safe space haven, their mere presence and thoughts aggrieve the oppressed, writing, quote, "When those views invalidate the humanity of some people, they restrict the public good." So he's saying essentially speech, and opinion in particular, that is a zero-sum proposition. If someone like Ann Coulter releases her ideas in Professor Baer's direction, well, it chokes off anyone else's ideas, experiences, and their humanity. Because in his subjective fantasy land, only one of these things can exist at a time. He goes on, quote, "The idea of free speech does not mean blanket permission to say anything anybody thinks." Yes, it does, unless the thinker is directly inciting violence. Quote, he says, "It means balancing the inherent value of a given view with the obligation to ensure that other members of a given community can fully participate in discourse as fully recognized members of that community." That is a hot bowl of baloney on so many levels. Number one, there is no such obligation for balance, period. Number two, who ensures full participation? And what if the community is overbooked? Does someone get dragged off the community plane? And number three, most importantly, under Führer Ulrich Baer's new guidelines, who decides? Free speech can be boorish, offensive, inconvenient, and worthless. But sorry, sunshine, even with your gilded gavel and your ivory tower and your dumb, self-gratifying subjectivism, it's all protected. And so are you, you beautiful unicorn. Welcome to it. I'm Kennedy.